Coming up on this hour of American Graduate Day, a principal dancer of the American Ballet Theater, Misty Copeland, and acclaimed chef and restaurateur, Marcus Samuelson.
Hi, I'm Misty Copeland, and it's great to be a part of American Graduate Day. It's so vital for our youth to have mentors. One of my biggest inspirations and a mentor to me is Raven Wilkinson. She is a former ballerina with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. I learned about her story from watching a documentary on the Ballet Russe. It was incredible to learn about a Black woman who was dancing in an all-white company in the 1950s, the first and only to dance in that company. Having someone to be able to look at and see myself through gave me so much strength. Raven Wilkinson has been a really big part of why I'm here today.
You let go. Ba-rump on the knee. Let's see.
I was so inspired by her and her story and her strength and her perseverance that it inspired me to write my children's book, Firebird. It's sharing this journey of having an older ballerina supporting a younger ballerina. It's a beautiful story of mentorship. Having a community center like the Boys and Girls Club, I think, is so extremely important for young kids. The Boys and Girls Club has been such a part of my life from the time I was starting out with my training at a Boys and Girls Club, where I took my first ballet class at the age of 13. Having the mentors there at my club took a huge role in shaping who I am today. I'm still so indebted and grateful to the Boys and Girls Club for giving me the opportunities that I have, and it's important for us to all support each other and have those mentors in our life. Become an American Graduate Champion. Be a mentor like Raven.
If not for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the world of dance may never have seen the remarkable artistry of Misty Copeland. Hello, I'm Michael Hill, and I'm pleased to be a part of today's conversations. Since 1997, school districts without music programs have turned to VH1 Save the Music Foundation for new musical instruments and plenty of support. Music programs across the country have taken root and, as a result, flourished, inspiring student achievement while enhancing millions of lives. With us are Mr. Kevin George, Superintendent of the St. John the Baptist Parish Public School System, and Jay Morgan, a ninth grader at East St. John High School. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Kevin, I'm familiar with many of the rural areas of Louisiana, the river parishes as we call them. Can you describe for us the community of St. John the Baptist Parish and where is it exactly located?
Yes, St. John the Baptist Parish is located at about 30 miles west of New Orleans, and it's right between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We have a economic corridor with a lot of manufacturing, a lot of chemical plants and whatnot, and it's just a great area to be in.
And football is very popular there, I know.
Absolutely.
Back in 2013, when you became superintendent of the school district there, why did you reach out to VH1 Save the Music Foundation?
Well, when I got there, we had no music programs in any of our elementary schools. If a child wanted to participate in music, they had to wait until they got into high school. So I said, well, look, we need to change that. A chance meeting happened with myself and Ms. Chiho Feinler from the Save the Music Foundation, and it just was a match made in heaven. She was excited to help us. We were excited to implement music programs into our schools, and I'm proud to say that right now, every single one of our elementary schools have a music program.
That's remarkable. Jay, you joined the music program not that long ago. You're a freshman now, but back in middle school, what made you decide to join the music program?
Well, I have always had a talent for music, a passion, a love for it. And there was no music program at the school, so it was just like my life was no rhythm. But when the VH1 Save the Music came, it's like all the joy came back into me. I was able to join the band at LES, and I was very excelling with it.
Can you talk about how this program has been an incentive for you and what it's meant for your classmates in terms of going to school and doing well in school?
In terms of going to school, like football. If you have to have good grades in order to play on the team. So for the band, if you have bad grades, you can't participate, or you just basically take like a few minutes and drop out of the band. And once you get your grades up, then you'll be able to fluctuate more in the band, because it requires your academics and your talent. So with me, my understanding, I had there was no music, so basically what I was waiting for high school. And when the high school came, I was gonna be ready to join the band, because I've been an honor roll student my whole life, so there was no need for me to have the band and keep my grades up, because I was both excelling at both of them since elementary.
But music was missing your life. Tell me, what does learning an instrument and what does doing well with an instrument, what does it do about for your confidence in school and with other things that you might find hard to do in life?
What things I find hard to do in life, kids can learn from being inspired with the instrument. With this instrument, they can learn more. They can learn more beyond just throwing the football. They can go to colleges on scholarships with music and not just have to go on scholarship for football or getting hurt or things like that. They can be able to learn more and mentally with their head and have it in their mind when they go to college like Southern, and they'll be able to just play the music.
Music is your passion now, isn't it?
Yes, sir,
it is. I can tell it is. Kevin, in addition to the performance and the benefits of playing and enjoying music, have you seen an academic benefit to students in a program like this?
Absolutely. I think when music programs, we always make this joke about when you talk to kids that are involved in band or in music programs, you never run across a kid that is academically low. All those kids are performing well academically, and we believe it is a part of the music because of their musical training. You know, when I got there in 2013, we were a low C district. Right now, we're proud to say that we're a B district, and I strongly believe that because of those music programs, it has really helped our kids not only learn and be able to participate in music, but also has helped them academically.
Because you're reaching them in a different way.
Absolutely. We're teaching the entire child. It's not just about the 4 core subjects. It's also about those opportunities for our children.
Kevin, when districts lose music programs and arts programs and things like that because of budget cuts, and we've seen it across America, what are they really losing?
They're losing the soul of their district. I believe when people say, well, we can't afford to implement a music program, we can't afford not to. Kids like Jay, they need those opportunities for us to give them just many platforms and able to show what they can do beyond just the written academic work. We have to educate the entire child, and that's what we're doing in St. John the Baptist Parish.
Kevin, George, Jay Morgan, thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming in. And thanks to you and to VH1 Save the Music Foundation. We'll keep the music playing, and as they say in New Orleans, let the good times roll.
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's look at an American institution that's more than a century old and boasts an amazing 2.4 million members. And that number is sure to swell with the recent announcement that they will be expanding programs to include girls in the near future. They are the Boy Scouts of America. Following the scouting motto of Be Prepared, their Exploring program prepares 120,000 boys and girls with some very important life and career skills through immersive experiences and mentorships provided by more than 5,000 businesses throughout the USA.
I'm Tom Donahue. I'm President and Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States. We are a country with people without jobs and jobs without people. One of the issues that business should focus on is exploring, because we're training young people about specific industries. We're defining for them what they need to do in schooling to end up with good jobs, and we're bringing together people that need workers and people that are going to be workers.
I'm Didi Arunki, and I'm in the Aviation Explorers Post 445. I live right across the street from the airport. I've lived there my entire life, and annually they have an airport day here. So public gets to come in. I just kind of pop my head in all the time. And the Explorer Post here, they had a booth. They just kind of drawed me right in. They had a bunch of kids there, all in their red shirts. They had a poster and just had all the amazing activities that they do. I was just so enthralled. I found out that it's not just, flying and piloting. There's mechanics, there's avionics, there's so many other things, and I fell in love with the mechanics aspect of it. And because I fell in love with the mechanics side of it, I'm pursuing that as a career. I'm going to school, taking my classes, and in 2 to 3 years, I'll be a certified airframe and power plant mechanic. I found out that I loved aviation because of the exploring program. There's just so many different outlets and different programs. You may find what you love without even knowing what it is.
I think exploring is extraordinary because it helps lots of young men and women get a taste and an understanding of different industries, but more important than that, a clear understanding of what they have to do in school and in their life to prepare themselves for good jobs in a new and technological era.
My name's Keith, and I'm an Exploring Post 725.
When Keith first told me he was interested in the Explorer program, I wasn't shocked and I wasn't surprised at all. I'm proud of my son to be going into this career field because it's truly a self-sacrifice. It teaches you about civics, and it also teaches you your responsibility to your community.
Freshman and sophomore year, I used to get bullied a lot because I was a little small, scrawny dude. Looking at myself back then to now, it's really big. I smile a lot more, I'm a lot more friendly. I have a louder voice. I used to be really quiet, didn't talk as much, but the Explorer program really helped me with command presence.
I wish every kid I knew could just go be an explorer. I thank Boy Scouts of America, the Police Explorer program, the City of Las Vegas. I have a lot of people to thank because everyone helped to put my son where he is right now.
I think it's very, very important for companies because they're looking at their future workers and they have to understand what they have to do to help educate them, to stay in touch with them after they've been in contact with them, and to figure out how to hire them instead of somebody else getting them. Exploring, discover your future.
We're going to be working in the language, working in the arts, working with our food. We're going to be working together. Walking into a classroom and sitting down works for some folks. When we have young people in our communities that are facing depression, addiction, suicides, we acknowledge and then we diagnose just that thing. But a long time ago, we worked with the entire person. We have done things for time immemorial because it calls to us.
You can just see the kids gravitate towards her and really somebody to look up to. I feel like it's really rooted them in a sense of community. I feel like they're really proud of everything they're doing.
So we decided that when we wanted to do Tlingit language, that it would have to encompass natural settings. So we came out as far as we could to make sure we didn't have cell phone reception and that the only connections that we had were with each other. I always ask my students, what has a spirit? Everything has a spirit. These rocks, these flowers, these trees, this air, this land, the water. All of these things are a part of who we are.
The spirit of giving helps young people to feel a sense of kinship, and no other organization spreads the feeling of family like Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. For more than 100 years, they have done life-changing work by matching bigs with littles in long-term mentorships that have a proven record of success. We are thrilled that appearing with us today, out of 150,000 matches, is the Big Brother of the Year, Terrence Daniels, along with his little Terrell Blue. You can see the ripple effect right here, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. You're from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Welcome to you both. Terrence, congratulations. This is an amazing honor. Out of all these matches across America, you're the Big Brother of the Year. Tell us, what inspired you to begin with to become a Big Brother?
So I was a little myself. I was in the program for 8 months, and it's something that just never left me. So I always knew that I wanted to give back when the time was right. So I hit the age of 21. I felt that I was ready to mentor, right? That's the perfect age to do it.
Right.
So I signed up for the program, and they matched me with Terrell Blue here, and it's just been an amazing journey ever since. So
now, bigs get to choose their little. What made you choose Terrell, what was about his story that said he's the one?
So there were 3 potential littles that they gave me information on, and I always joke with Terrell because the other 2 actually lived closer to my house. And Terrell lived in a neighborhood that was kind of far out, but I heard his story. And
so you had to go farther to get to him?
Further to get to him. It was more work. It was a lot more work. So, but no, when I heard his story, I knew that I had to be involved and that, this was a situation that I could definitely come in and make some type of a difference. So,
Terrell, how old were you at the time and what was going on in your life?
Well, I was 11 years old when he came into my life. What was going on was I lost my little brother at the age of 3. Both of my parents were incarcerated. I got split up between my little brother and little sisters and big brother and big sister. My brother lived in South Carolina and they all moved. I got separated from everybody. My aunt took me in. I was going through a hard time trying to get back on a good path, a steady path. It's just, I had no one really there. None of that was always in my life. I had no one there no more. They was all gone. It
sounds like you needed some kind of a rescue. Terrence stepped into the picture. What was your goal in becoming Terrell's big?
The first thing that I told myself was to just be consistent. Hearing his story, losing everyone, like he just mentioned, I knew that I wanted to be someone that he can count on that was there day in and day out. So just between communication, being in the military, there are times where I've had to leave for months in, but I always made sure that I kept that consistency with Terrell in our communication and building the relationship to what it is today.
Now, you were in the reserves. You actually went to Iraq. Did you stay in touch with him?
Yes, the whole time. He would write me letters, and we had social media, so I would be able to talk to him via there and phone calls. So that was really good.
Terrell, it seems like you guys have forged a really terrific bond here. What do your friends think of Terrence?
At first, when I first met him, I didn't like him. I didn't know him. He was just a tall black guy that came in, and I didn't really get to know him like that. But as he showed me consistent and kept showing up, and I'm not gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna get you through it. I'm gonna help you get better. And that was something I needed. So when he first came around, my friends were, who is he? We don't know him, but eventually they all start to look up to him. He's doing well. He got twins. He's taking care of them. He always got a smile on his face. Wow. Got 2 cars, a motorcycle, and a house. What's not to look up? He's a good role model to look at and look up to. And he ain't no superhero, but he doing his thing.
He's hero enough.
Yes, yeah.
Now, you graduated from high school. What are your plans now?
Well, I've actually joined the military, the National Guard as well. I leave on the 24th in 2 weeks now. Well, a week and a half, I should say. And when I come back, I'll be going to school for dentistry, either going to UC or going to a school in Dayton that my doctor also told me about.
Tell me how this man has changed your life.
A lot of ways. The way I think, the way I go about things, and the way I just look at situations now. It helps me go about a lot of things better. So he's with grades, with just trying to not being caught up in the bad situations, just walking away, doing the right thing. It ain't really that serious. So he taught me a lot. He's taught me a lot.
Giving you good advice?
Yes.
Good direction?
Yes.
You trust him?
Yes, I do.
Tell me why.
Cause that consistency. I mean, if you gonna come to my life and you just gonna leave, why would I trust you? He came into my life and he stayed. I mean, it
sounds like he came in at one of the worst times and he stuck around.
Yes.
Why'd you stick around?
Again, I saw what he needed, and his background of losing his brother, to a murder from, someone that was close to his family, was just something that I definitely wanted to be really hands-on as far as, and I always believe in leading by example. We joke when I was in college, he was in high school, and we would compare our grades. And one semester, he actually got better grades than I did. I had a C in a class I thought I would do better in, and so I had to buy him dinner. So just showing him, like, you know, here I am, a guy that's just came out of the situations that you've been in, and just giving a little insight on how to be successful.
Terrence the Big, Terrell the Little. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You can see the ripple effect that mentoring can have right here. There are 30,000 kids waiting for a big brother or sister. Why not sign up and start a ripple of your own? Who knows where it will end? Maybe like this. Help comes, as you know, in all forms, from mentors to groups help excelling the teachers. With a focus on under-resourced communities, the Kids in Need Foundation delivers free school supplies to classrooms across the country. Lauren is standing by with the Executive Director of Kids in Need Foundation, Dave Smith, and School Superintendent Kevin George once again. Lauren?
Thank you, Michael. We are going to jump right in and ask Dave to tell us more about the Kids in Need Foundation and its mission.
It's very simple, Lauren. Our mission is to see that every child is prepared to learn and succeed in the classroom, and we do that by providing school supplies to students most in need across the country. We do that through really 4 main initiatives. The first is a national network of 40, we call them teacher resource centers, where teachers from low-income schools can go in and shop for items to take back to the classroom. I put quotation marks around shop because the items are free. There's no cash register. Second is a grant program where teachers can apply for a grant to get school supplies for their entire classroom. Third is we call School Ready Supplies, or a backpack program, where we have sponsors, everything from a neighborhood group to a family foundations to very large corporations, sponsor backpack giveaways, again, to students in need. And our fourth one is called Second Responder, where we give school supplies to students impacted by natural disasters. And you can imagine we're a little busy right now down in Southeast Texas and in Florida. Give you some idea of the scope of the numbers. There's about 16 million kids in the United States who live in poverty today. Last year, we were able to distribute about $130 million of the product to more than 5 million students. So big numbers, but a long way to go.
An amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that portion. Superintendent, I have not forgotten about you over there. Hi, Kevin. Tell us what happens when teachers don't have the tools they need to teach and students don't have the supplies they need to learn in the classroom.
Well, what happens there is that teachers worry about other things besides instruction. I mean, they have to worry about how they're going to have the supplies. What can they do to make sure that the kids have what they need in order to be able to participate in class? And so it just takes their mind off of their focus, which should be instruction.
There is a pyramid of boxes behind me. Dave, let's toss it back to you. Tell me, what is UB and what's inside these boxes?
UB is a manufacturer of creative, colorful, innovative, fun school supplies. And inside each one of these boxes is 30 little smaller packs, enough for an entire classroom of students. And each little pack has inside of crayons, pencils, glue sticks, the basics for the classroom.
You have something very exciting to share with us all on TV right now.
We do, Kevin. We know about the economic challenges you face in your district, and so we're going to send one of these classroom packs to each one of your classrooms in your district, about 160, I understand that is. For each one of your classrooms, we'll send those down there, and that's enough to impact about 5,000 students.
That is amazing. That is a great news. That is great. I mean, I just met Dave today, and you're like Santa Claus, man. Thank you so much.
Superintendent, what is this going to mean to your students and your teachers?
Well, you know, when you have all the tools that you need, now you can just focus on teaching and learning. And that's what we want our teachers and our principals and our kids to worry about, teaching and learning in the classroom. We don't want you worried about the supplies. We'll give you all that. Just come ready to learn, and we'll take care of the rest.
You're going to have to bring all of this home. I think you'll need a little more space in the overhead bin on the plane. What do you think?
Yes, they might get upset with me.
All right, and now we're going to toss it back to the band, As You Were.
With every breath that I take, I want you to share that air with me.
I was lucky because I had all sorts of mentors from a young age. Mine was a teacher at Kirby Hall named Mrs. Wolf in 3rd grade. There was just a warmth when you got into her classroom that kind of resonated throughout. I definitely think it matters to have non-parental support, just because there's some conversations you don't really want to have with your parents all the time. You know, there were conversations that I could have with a mentor and maybe be a little bit more vulnerable. I say nobody has benefited from our foundation more than I have. You know, you lose a Wimbledon final and people look at you for the next month when you're walking around town like you're a lost puppy or something. You know, having the perspective of, listen, we deal with kids who are dealing with problems of not having food on the table, or, you know, a single parent living paycheck to paycheck to try to support their kids. Like, what I was dealing with wasn't a real problem. And I think that perspective was so important for me. So I was the one learning. Maybe the best conversation I had, which just made me feel whole inside, was I was leaving Pecan Springs a couple years ago. The janitor who had worked at the school for 25 some odd years came up and said, "Are you that Roddick Foundation guy? I said, yes, sir. And he said, I just got to tell you, these kids are walking around. I've never seen them happier, more productive. I've never seen the parents in a better place. And so that little conversation made a decade of work just worthwhile.
FIRST is a mentor-based program that inspires students to collaborate and compete in interscholastic contests using engineering, math, computers, and robotics that can open doors to lasting careers. Michigan teacher Scott Heister began mentoring his school's first robotics team that saw increased engagement, attendance, and test scores, while Scott saw an opportunity to apply a new approach to learning.
We founded the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College 4 years ago based on FIRST principles. Our program blurs the lines between a traditional high school and college. Our students come to us as freshmen and they'll leave us with a high school diploma and an associate's degree after 5 years.
I definitely learned a lot from being homeschooled, but I would have never learned as much as I have now from being involved with the robotics team and being involved with the STEM Middle College. It helped me a lot with my math. I'm definitely doing a lot better than what I ever thought I would have at this point in time.
Ever since I was little, I always liked to build things. I was always interested in robotics. The very thing that I like about Team 66 is that every time I'm here, they always teach me something.
Students at the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College and Team 66 come from an urban at-risk community where success has been far and few between. The majority of our students are first-generation college students.
I was taken from my biological father and mother because of how abusive they were to me. I love to build, I love the engineering. Finding out about that program, it completely changed my life.
I love being on Team 66. I'm using math that I'm learning from my STEM classes. I'm using the stuff that I learned in my engineering class. If I don't know what I'm doing or what's going on, someone always is there to help me.
Making projects to show my knowledge is really an awesome opportunity because it helps me learn and it helps me show people that I can do more when I use my hands and when I speak out loud than what I would do if I was just taking tests.
The average graduation rate before our two schools merged was 69%. The graduation rate of the STEM Middle College is over 90%. The opportunities that Team 66 has afforded this community has actually provided a stepping stone for our students to successes beyond anyone's imagination.
Currently, I'm involved in a CubeSat satellite program with the University of Michigan where we design a small cube that will be shot into space and orbit around for 100 years. Right now, we're making the prototype with U of M students so that we can understand the physics and the logics of it before we actually launch.
In the 8th grade, I wasn't proficient in science and math. After being a student in the Ypsilanti STEM Middle College, I graduated with 32.5 credits and am now attending Oakland University to study computer science.
So many of our students come to us broken, and they leave us with a hope of a better future.
I love being here, and I would never, ever forget this place.
Horizon Salisbury has been in existence for 15 years. This is our 15th summer. We focus on children who have great learning potential, but not the resources to continue that learning throughout the summer. We bring those students into the Horizons program with the anticipation that they will overcome the academic achievement gap that may be there.
How's everybody doing today? Good?
Horizons works around building the entire student. And so what we do is we encourage them to come back and help other students to give back. And they come back now as CITs, which are counselors in training, and they work with students on their level and also give back and helping them to be the best student that they can be.
They helped me, so now I want to give back and help out other students. The kids' faces, they just like light up. And like, they have so much fun here.
To see them achieve something that they didn't think that they could, and like, oh, I did this. Those are the things that just draw me to the Horizons program, to see the students as they grow and realize that they are valuable and that they have value in our community.
American Graduate Day is alive
nationwide outreach event.
Hey everybody, my name is Chef Marcus Samuelson, and I'm super excited to be part of American Graduate Day. The reason why I'm a chef and own my own restaurant is because I had some great mentors. So Chef Charlie Trotter, an amazing chef in Chicago, and Miss Leah Chase in New Orleans. They taught me a lot about work ethic, pushing through, staying curious, and always keep learning. And that's something that I want to give back to my young cooks. Career Through Culinary Arts Program, or CCAP, as we call it, was founded by Richard Grousman over 25 years ago. It's an amazing program. We really focus on inner city youth, and it's really learning life skills through cooking. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of kids across the country to get scholarship to go to college. When they're in college, they've also managed to find mentors that really guided them through all the ups and downs that can happen while they're in college. And in the kitchen, you're gonna meet Kalisha. She's a young mentee, a CCAP grad, and she's doing really great in the kitchen.
I joined CCAP as a junior in high school. Now I am a junior sous chef at Red Rooster Harlem, where Chef Marcus Samuelson is my mentor.
There you go, that's your breakfast.
Thank you, Chef.
Ask me what he wants this.
He always pushed me to do better and be better and try to stand out and make a name for myself and make myself known in like a positive light.
We happened to open our restaurant in London. Kalisha was fortunate enough to come with us to London to get international experience. She also came with me to Sweden.
It was amazing. I did not want to leave.
Yeah.
No.
What goals do you have for yourself?
Open up my own restaurant, of course.
Nice.
I want to be able to be somebody that I needed when I was younger.
Become an American Graduate Champion, just like I had some fantastic mentors like Chef Charlie Trotter and Miss Leah Chase.
And just like Chef Marcus is to me.
All right.
Chef Samuelson is a prime example of how one person's mentorship leads to unimagined success for others. For more than 15 years, Autism Speaks' mission has been to help children and adults who are on the autism spectrum, as well as their families and the community at large, to better understand the complex nature of autism. Recently, Autism Speaks began addressing another important issue: how to find roles in the country's workforce for an aging autistic population. So with us today from Autism Speaks are Angela Geiger, she's a president and CEO, and Lisa Goring is the Chief Program and Marketing Officer. It's nice to have you guys, appreciate it. Let's begin with you, if we can, Angela. You have a kind of a shift here. Tell me about this new strategy, and why did you decide it was such an important thing to do?
So Autism Speaks has a decade-long, even more than a decade-long, real reputation for building awareness, and also particularly focused on early diagnosis and timely intervention. But as we've made so much gains in the research we funded, and we started listening to the community, we realized that transition to adulthood needs to be added to that mission.
It's hard for everybody, but if you are autistic, there are added challenges, of course.
Of course, and the idea that making sure people have the support they need to be successful, because you're an adult with autism a lot longer than you're a kid with autism, and making sure people are prepared for really successful, meaningful lives.
So once you decided that you would grow in this new direction, what were the first steps to kind of bringing that into the organization?
So one of the things that had already been going on, and Lisa really led, was working on employment. And we know that one of the best success factors for people being employed after they graduate is having employment while they're in school. So making sure that employment is a real important part of those transition plans into adulthood.
Lisa, let's talk about your son. He's roughly the same age as my nephew, 21.
Right.
Explain to folks just how hard it is for a young person who's at that age where every other kid would be looking for their first job. And there are some additional challenges if you're autistic.
Right, so that's why it's so important that we really encourage families to start that transition planning, excuse me, way before 21. To really start at 12, 14, start to think about job sampling. Make sure that that's a part of your individual education program so that when you do leave the school system, you have the experience that puts you at a competitive advantage.
That's such a great point. I would not have thought as early as 12, right? You think 17, 18,
right.
Really by then it's kind of late.
Right, some of the skills that you may want to really get under your belt before you're actually out in the community and at a job site.
What do you think schools should be doing to help kids prepare really for the workforce, kids who are autistic?
To really assess their strengths as well as some of their challenges, and work with that student and their families to come up with plans that provide meaningful work for them. They can be some of our best employees. They're focused, and they can really, especially tasks that may be repetitive but complex, kids with autism can do really well at those tasks.
Angela, you have been partnering with companies to really make this happen. Tick off for me some of the folks you're working with and what they bring to you.
So I think one of the most important things for people to recognize is the spectrum of autism. So there are job things, everything from computer programming to folding napkins and everything in between. So really focusing on what individual strengths are and finding the job that fits. And we find that when you find that job that fits, the retention rates are longer and productivity is often higher. So whether that's something like TIAA in a farm in California, to Cintas doing work all across the country in kind of more service industry, to right here in New York City, Spectrum Designs making T-shirts. They're actually the T-shirts that we use for our walk program all across the country.
And when you have that kind of relationship with an organization, often they then come back to you and say, we need more young people. What makes it work? What do they say that they need that's working?
I think the best companies really start with a focus on the individual with autism and then build the coaching and support around that. And then again, those are the employees that tend to last the longest and be the happiest over the long term.
So Lisa, I mean, a paycheck is great, obviously. Everybody wants their kid to go make some money. Right. But it really isn't, no job is just about the paycheck, right?
It's about being a part of the community, feeling that sense of responsibility and accomplishment. And that's what I think everybody's looking for.
Angela, if you had some business leaders here who were on the fence, because I think for some people they think, I'm not sure. What would you say to convince them that this is the right thing to do and from a business perspective, a worthwhile business maneuver for them?
I think not only is it a win-win to meet business objectives, but often it helps with people who are federal employment contracts have a diversity mandate of how many people they need to employ. But the other thing we're finding more and more is employers that employ people with autism and other disabilities are really looked at as best places to work. It makes their employees proud to be a part of the kind of company who embraces that kind of diversity.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of that. And how about for the young people who get jobs? Tell me what you see in them as they become gainfully employed and contributing.
So being employed, obviously the paycheck is important, but it really is that sense of community. And we continue to see that they grow and develop in other ways. So they are more interested in being out in the community, being able to spend that paycheck. There's a young man who talks about the first time he could take his parents out for dinner. Oh, that's cool. And so, those are really proud moments. And that's really part of why this is just so important.
Yeah, it's really important and really just amazing. So congratulations to both of you. I like this new shift. We've been with Autism Speaks for the very beginning, so I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Opening new doors for employees and employers is also at the root efforts by Best Buddies, by fostering friendships and leadership skills and employment opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Best Buddies International is unlocking the fearless potential and boundless abilities of workers who are ready to soar.
What is my potential?
If no one ever tells me I have any.
What are my dreams?
What are my dreams?
If nobody else can see them. Can I be a translator?
Can I be a singer?
Can I ever be anything? Some days I'm afraid I can't.
I feel alone.
But aren't we all afraid
and lonely.
And lonely some days?
I've been told what I cannot do.
But what can I do? I can listen to you cry when your dreams and your days don't match.
I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I can make you laugh when you need it most. I am filled with love. Now can you see my potential?
I can't.
I can't.
Because it has no boundaries.
When you think I've reached my potential,
I'm just getting started. I will not just dance. I will translate for those who cannot hear. I will make a living at the job I love.
And be valued as a true team member.
my fingers will glide across the piano, and I will fill your ears with song.
I will not just do a job, but I will do it with passion.
Are you someone who gets stage fright?
I'm not.
I'm not.
Are you afraid?
Are you afraid of what you can't do?
That's how everyone feels.
That's how everyone feels. But I am not afraid today.
I am a waiter.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
I'm a leader. Today is full of potential.
And for me,
Today
is
just
the beginning.
Isn't it like cooking with a camp stove?
For Chris Gradeville, the decision to be a mentor was easy.
Growing up where I did in Omaha, Nebraska, I always had mentors in my life that helped me along the way.
Chris is a big brother to Charlie Perry as part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program.
We go to the Chiefs hockey games, we'll go just down Riverfront Park, take the dog for a walk.
And then there's baseball.
Throw, attaboy.
Chris played professionally for 5 years.
Good, nice job.
Now Charlie plays in the Buddy League for special needs athletes.
Good job.
Usually I'm the batter or outfielder.
Step and throw.
Charlie has Asperger's syndrome, so Chris works with him on social skills and being comfortable in public.
Because those are life skills that he's going to need to know as he grows older.
But it wasn't always like this.
Nice job. The first night I met him, we went out for ice cream, and he didn't say anything but 2 words.
Charlie was 10 then.
Just like that. Perfect. Good job. Have you learned about kindling in Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
High school next year, which is a big step, and he's going to be just fine. He works well with the other kids at school, and he is a kind-hearted human being. Nice job, buddy.
A friendship both cherish.
Well, I like him first off. Plus, it does feel like something special is happening.
Strengthened by a sport they both love.
Ball hits, hold it. Perfect.
Special people work with special needs children, and our next group has a unique way to make a perfect match. It's called Athletes for Kids. They pair high school athletes with special needs students. Who benefits more is up for debate. Joining us today from their home and outside of Seattle is Amy Stotts. Her son, Zach, is a mentee in Athletes for Kids. And Tomas Cardenas, he is Zach's mentor. Thank you, guys. I know you made the big haul.
Appreciate it.
So we certainly appreciate you. So, Amy, why don't you, thank you, appreciate that. Start off by telling me a little bit about Zach.
He's 14, in 8th grade. He loves acting and loves to watch sports, and also has a lot of challenges. He's spent a lot of time in the hospital. He's had 20 different surgeries. He has a syndrome that has it's called Kabuki syndrome, and it carries a lot of causes a lot of different challenges for him: physical mobility, cognitive delay, hearing loss.
While you've been talking, we've been showing some very cute pictures of Zach on the screen. So, Tomas, explain to me what the group does.
So Athletes for Kids is a youth mentoring program that pairs high school athletes with kids with special needs and disabilities. But what we try to say to a lot of people is it's not really about being an athlete. Really, it's more about the kids. And what I stress to a lot of people is that it's not really about being someone that's always there for them. It's moreover about being someone that's always there as a genuine person. I feel like a lot of people in programs are there for people just because they're in a program, right? But we're there as a genuine friend. Right? We're not just there because we're in a program, we're there to be with them and be there throughout their entire.
Walk me through some of the things that you and Zach do together. What was it like when you met Zach for the first time?
So when I first met Zach, really, we played a lot of things that made him comfortable. We played a lot of Legos, and as part of my job, being a mentor of him, was I wanted to stretch him out of that. I wanted to stretch myself as well, being a mentor, but also him, and I wanted to start doing some things that made him step out of his comfort zone. We'd step outside, we'd play sports, yeah, that's some of the things we do, but now we play a lot of card games. We just try to mix it up a lot.
What did you notice in Zach when he started having mentoring? Tomas, I know, is his third mentor. Yeah. So what did you see from before he had a mentor till now?
Well, Zach himself will say that he has a lot of trouble fitting in and knowing what to say to people and knowing what to do next and things like that. And I've noticed just such growth with him. Tomas brings out a really funny side to him, and Tomas is right there emotionally, and even I've watched him struggling physically with something, and Tomas just puts his hands over Zach's hands and helps him, and it's really warming to see that.
Do you think strategically about these things, Tomas? I mean, I know that Zach's in a new school, So do you sit down and say, okay, new school, here's a plan for what I want to get out of this experience for Zach?
I mean, I feel like some people can take it like that, but to me it's natural. I'm going to hang out with my friend, and I understand the things that he's going through. I understand just his life, but to me, I'm his friend, and I go through there, and I have things in mind, right? I understand what I'm supposed to do in my role in his life, but I'm trying to be as genuine as possible, and I feel like if I were to strategically plan something out, it wouldn't be genuine.
Often, I think in mentoring, people often think the mentee is the one who's sort of getting all the benefits, and that is often not the case. Who's getting more out of this relationship?
And that's something else that I stress a lot. It's a win-win on both sides. I feel like a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, it's me, the mentee that wins this. But no, Zach has stretched me a lot to grow as a person.
How's he stretched you?
He's having him, step out of his comfort zone makes me step out of my comfort zone, because maybe going outside and being someone's role model, that's a big challenge. And it's a big challenge that I was reluctant to get into, but it's very anxious and it's hard to get into, but when you do it, it's a big role to take over.
How does Zach handle having different mentors? I know you're in your senior year of high school, so this is a special year, but you might separate after that.
The mentors that he's had have stayed in his life. It's been really, really beautiful. He's had such a special bond that he still sees his old mentor, Sam. And I can't imagine that you won't continue to come and hang out with us sometimes, show up at birthday parties and family gatherings. He just has fit right into our family, and he really is a true friend to Zach. I see that. It's not, I don't see it as a job for him.
Sort of like the more the merrier when it comes to mentors. I have that same philosophy as well. So end of your senior year, what happens in terms of mentoring for you?
Well, I'm not technically going to be a part of the program after this, but what it is like I said, it's a genuine relationship. And as I move on from high school, I won't be a part of the program like I mentioned, but what it is, I'm going to be still a part of his life. I'm a friend of his. We're still going to keep in contact. I'm going to be in the state. So it's going to keep on going from there.
Oh, good. I love that. Amy, in our final minute, so what has it meant to you to have Tomas as part of your family, really?
Well, I've said to someone before that, Zach has so many people involved in his life, teachers, doctors, nurses. He has a wonderful, supportive family, but we're all expected to interact with him in some way and be supportive, and we want to. But Tomas is there just because he likes Zach, and he's really a true friend to him. And so it's just been so, inspirational to me, and just so important to see Zach be excited when he's coming over, and just really, just really grow with him. And
thank you.
It's a perfect friendship.
Really important.
I love that. Great. Well, Amy and Tomas, thank you guys so much for joining me. Talk about the program. It's amazing. Obviously, being a mentor has changed Tomas's life. If this story inspired you, you can go to AmericanGraduate.org and click on Be a Mentor to find opportunities in your area. Now let's take a look at another one of our stories of champions coming to us from sister station NPT in Nashville, Tennessee. Poppy Steele is just one of the amazing champions that we're recognizing today. The professionals and volunteers in all of the nonprofits we've met so far totals 2,418,320, all of them champions.
Good listening. I saw Miss Kinley first. Come on up.
This is Sign Club, a Middle Tennessee nonprofit that connects deaf children with hearing children through sign language.
About 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents, and at least 75% of those parents never learn to sign. So these children grow up in homes frequently isolated within the home, and then they get to school and they don't have friends at school who can communicate with them or teachers who can communicate with them. So our deaf children frequently sit by themselves at lunch or play by themselves on the playground. So that's what Sign Club does. We try to eliminate that isolation and make friends.
The way Steele sees things, it's a win-win for everyone, regardless of hearing ability.
Sign language is a benefit to deaf children and hearing children to improve literacy, But the truth is, what we do is build relationships because there's a people behind that language. And so we want to introduce them to those people and get to know who they are.
Our next organization is the Viscardi Center and School, which is located right here in New York on Long Island. Since 1962, they have educated and empowered young people with physical disabilities from pre-K through the age of 21. They also provide vocational training and career counseling to assist with the transition from school to independence. Lauren Wanko is with the Viscardi School's 2017 salutatorian. Lauren.
We are very lucky to be joined by Alexa Williams, Viscardi graduate. Alexa, tell us, why did you decide to join the Henry Viscardi School?
Well, I started the Henry Viscardi School when I was in kindergarten, but before that I was in public school for about 2 months, and that school didn't really have the necessary services that I needed in order to succeed academically at the Henry Viscardi School. So therefore my mom found out about the Henry Viscardi School, and she enrolled me into that school in order for me to succeed academically.
You mentioned you were there since kindergarten. That's a long time. What did you gain from your experiences as a student there?
I gained a lot of strength, confidence, and being able to self-advocate for myself, in order to succeed in college.
I understand that you were an ambassador for the school, speaking at other schools and businesses. What would you say during these appearances?
Well, to me, the Viscardi Ambassadors was basically like community service, because we talked about ourselves to kids that are not disabled, so we let them know what the disabled community was like, and letting the children know that we're just like them. Even though we may look different, we still do the same things, just a little bit differently, and that we're all unique in our own way.
You were captain of the basketball team. Very cool. All of the players played in wheelchairs. Why?
The reason why they played in wheelchairs is because the Henry Viscardi School is children that are physically disabled. So therefore, you can see right now that I'm not in a wheelchair. So therefore, for me playing against a child that's in a wheelchair is not necessarily fair. So therefore, they put me in a wheelchair so it could be fair on the basketball court.
You recently graduated. What's next for you?
Right now, I am a current student at St. John's University studying legal studies.
You want to be a lawyer?
Yes, I do.
What made you decide to become a lawyer?
Well, I've watched a bunch of law shows, and they inspired me as well. And seeing things that are going around the world and people being treated not the way that they should, I was like, I can't just sit back and not do something about it. I have to be able to change it. So therefore, I wanted to be a lawyer.
You know, we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about mentors. Did you have one?
Yes, my mentor was Coach Joe. He's the coach of the wheelchair basketball team at the Henry Viscardi School.
And what did you learn from him?
Strength, determination, hard work, and playing hard to be a better basketball player.
And how does that translate to everything you want to do now?
It motivates me to work hard, go hard for my dreams, succeed in life, and being successful.
And since you are reaching for your dreams, quickly, what is your message for those watching who want to do the same thing?
To work hard, be nice to each other, be kind, and spread peace and love.
That sounds like an incredible message and a truly inspiring story. And while we have a few moments, we want to remind all of you at home to tell us who is a mentor for you, who has been your mentor, what do they mean to you? #AmGrad, let us know. We want to hear from you. Now we're going to hear from the band, As You Were.
My leg. I was running from my brother and his friends. I tasted sweet perfume.
As you've seen throughout our broadcast, creating career options is essential for today's youth. Special needs students are no exception. Preparing these young people for a life of independence can require special training in a variety of areas. The goal is to identify opportunities and teach the skills necessary for jobs that can provide both social and economic needs for years to come. For nearly 50 years, ECLC of New Jersey, or Education, Careers, and Lifelong Community for Children and Adults, has been doing just that. They prepare these young people for the journey from school to a meaningful job in a program they call Transition.
My name
is Maureen Gonzalez, and I've been to ECLC for 7 years. I'm a little nervous and a little bit scared to be myself growing up, but mostly I'm very, very excited because I have confidence, and ECLC helps me to be more responsible, caring, hardworking, and I am so ready to work out in community and show them what I got.
Transition is probably one of the most important pieces of our program and the most critical piece of our program, because you can educate someone and bring them to a certain point, but unless they have the skills to navigate the world after the age of 21, you haven't done your job.
Everyone over 10 years old participates in the skill program. Our intent is to impart any kind of skills that will help our students in their future after school, whether it be work or in a program or even around the home or community. Because no matter where they go, they're going to have to follow directions, get along with others, be part of a team. And those are the kind of skills we try to have the students learn while here.
When I work with the kids, I hope to be able to get them to move on to the next phase of their life and hold a job if possible, or just be able to live on their own and be a productive human being.
I have to say the relationship between ECLC and Goodwill is something that I'm grateful for. The teachers are amazing. How they explain to them what they need to do and the steps they take to do it.
Our goal is to find the best possible fit for every student. Some of them will be working with CPS after graduation in supported employment jobs. Some will go to Pride, and some will go to other day programs of their choice, depending on which is the best fit for them.
My name is Michael Dawson. I've been working here at ShopRite for 8 years. I love my job. I bag the groceries. I try not to squish the bread. I separate the eggs instead, because people don't want to go home with scrambled eggs.
Mike's won Associate of the Month, I think, twice. And it was for outstanding work with customers and going above and beyond, helping them out to their car. There's a couple times customers left items behind, like their wallets, and he's handed it in.
It's a win-win situation. We have, a student who's there really wanting to work with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of energy, and certainly the employers benefit from that.
Pride was started in 2008 because there was a lack of programming for adults that had developmental disabilities. We encourage our clients to make decisions. We help them become confident with those decisions, guide them, and facilitate them towards independence and what they want to do with the rest of their lives. When our clients have that independence, experience that independence, and show that independence, it is a very wonderful, priceless experience for the families, for the clients, and the world around us.
In Waterville, Maine, a third-generation auto dealer envisioned a collaboration with the local high school tech center.
And I'm so happy to be talking about something that's become very important to us, and that's mentoring. A couple of years ago, we decided we needed to build the workforce we needed, and so we invested a whole bunch of time and energy in mentoring, where we paired the students up with the right job so that we could help them learn what it meant to be employed, what it meant to be a good employee, and what it meant to be part of the workforce, so that they could learn what it means to be gainfully employed.
Working here has helped me build my skills on being a team member, just because you got 11 other guys in the shop and we all work together as a team. Say if I need help, I go to him, and he needs help, he comes to me. We all borrow each other's tools if need be.
I just love it. I film cars, we put on YouTube. We do special events and I film those and post those on YouTube. And it's just helped me create my future, and I just appreciate it.
I started working on the wash crew as a junior, and by my senior year, I started my internship at Toyota shadowing techs.
Student interns are exposed to the volatility of industry and the demands of their supervisors, of their coworkers, and the customers. So from that, they gain employability skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and professionalism that are as important, if not more so, than the technical skills they develop with us. They come back to us and they're leaders.